Hey. Woo! What up, everybody? TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We made it another week. Seat dance. Let's go. You already know. Seat dance. Let me see what you got. I'm watching you. Hey. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, it's a celebration because it is the hottest podcast on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, now you know. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. And if you don't know, you better just Google us or just stay tuned right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mixture of Variety. I go by the name of Patient Zero. Give it up one time. All right. Thank you, studio audience. Thank you. I appreciate the applause. Actually, you know what? Give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause right now. Yes, indeed. Okay. All right. Ooh, yes, indeed. 12 people in here. It sounds like a studio, like a real studio audience. It sounds like a stadium, actually, if you ask me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Move. Mixture of Variety Entertainment. We stay moving forward and never backwards in 2022 and beyond. And, well, actually, let me lower the music. Actually, let me stop the music because I do have an announcement to make. I'm really sorry about this. I apologize to all our followers, all our fans, and everybody that's been watching the show for the last year. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be our last podcast. I'm very sorry to, share this news with you. I don't know if there's any other way to say it besides saying, psych, April Fool's in his bitch. April Fool's, it's April 1st, ladies and gentlemen. We made it to April. Holy fuck. We made it to April. Can you believe it? Is it going fast for you guys? Because it's definitely going fast for me. It's going fast for me. Like, I feel it. I feel it going too fast almost. I want it to slow down. Like, I feel like it was just New Year's. I feel like it was just my birthday at the beginning of the month. I feel like it was all these things. And now here we are in April, ladies and gentlemen. April 1st, 2022. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. So, with that being said, what a show we have for you today. What a show. Another banger. All of our shows are bangers, but this is going to be a banger. This is going to be something that we didn't talk about really on YouTube. I don't think we have. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to talk about all different kinds of conspiracy theories. We're just going to go. I made a list. I always come prepared with my bullet points. I came prepared, and we're going to talk about all different kinds of conspiracy theories. And at the end of the show, I'm going to ask you to email us at mixtureofvariety@gmail.com because just in case I forgot some, which is a strong possibility. Okay, I made this show earlier today, and it's a strong possibility. And as you can see, actually, let me point out, not like you guys are stupid and you don't know this already. You can tell by the time this is not a live show. Usually we do the live show at 9 p.m. Eastern every Friday, but I do say it's a live show or a YouTube premiere. So this week it just happens to be a YouTube premiere. You can see it's still daylight out. So obviously you guys are not stupid, but I just wanted to point that out just so in case you guys are watching and say, hey, I thought this was a live show. Yes, 90% of the time we do a live show, especially when we have guests on. When we have guests on, it's always a live show. Okay? Nikki P, the other half of this wonderful contraption of a show. That's not what I meant to say. The other half of this amazing show is Nikki P, and she has not been on the show for a while. I know you guys have noticed, and I know you guys have commented. It's been a long time. It's been over a month, over 5 weeks, over 6 weeks now. I think this is the 6th week that she hasn't been on YouTube, and she hasn't been on audio show. But she was on an audio show on Wednesday, so that's a plus. But now to come back and make her appearance back on YouTube. It's going to be a very special show, ladies and gentlemen. Nikki P will be back on the show April 15th. And that'll be a live show. And that means 2 weeks from today. Okay? 2 weeks from today. Set a reminder. Like we tell you all the time, set a reminder. That's going to be a big one. Set a reminder. She's like the special of all special guests at this point. We have special guests that are on, but she is the other half of this show. And she is, you know, an intricate part of it. So obviously she is going to be, it's going to be a blast to have her back that day. So if you guys are checking us out for the first time, let me just tell you that Mixture of Variety is a mixture of ideas and a variety of topics, and that equals Mixture of Variety. And there's also, you know, it also stands for MOVE, because the MOV is the Mixture of Variety, and then the entertainment is the E. So Mixture of Variety Entertainment, like I said before, you can Google us, you can ask a friend, and you can stay tuned, and you will soon find out that this is the hottest podcast around. Really, we're just getting started. Really, we've been doing this for a year, but we're really just getting started because now we're starting to learn a lot about the YouTube shows, and we're having like amazing guests come on just about every week, and we're having even more amazing topics, and our, you know, the background has been increasingly better, and all these things. So we're very happy about what direction it's going, and we're just very happy that you guys are watching, because obviously we have proof of that. So we definitely can't thank you enough for that. But we do have an audio show, and we do have a YouTube show. The audio show, new episodes are Monday and Wednesday. We do them live on Castbox.fm, which you can easily go to Castbox.fm on any browser, and you could search under Livecast. You can search Mixture of Variety, and you will see our name pop up, and you will go there. And if you want to, you know, check out our live show. If you can't catch the live show because shit gets in the way, kids gets in the way, work gets in the way, everything gets in the way, everything that we do is uploaded. Okay, everything that we do is uploaded. Then you can catch us on Spotify, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. We are there, 100%. There's podcast platforms that I didn't even know existed. We are there. Okay, and then obviously the big enchilada, if you will, is this YouTube show. And I already said it's Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. 90% of the time, it's a live stream. Tonight, it is not a live stream. But it's all good because we're still here, and we're still queer, and we're still not drinking beer. And speaking of not drinking beer, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say it because I didn't say it on YouTube yet. Did I say it last week? I might have said it last week. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Last Monday, the 28th of March, was my 3 years anniversary, sober and clean. Clean and sober. Yes, thank you. Sober and clean. Which way do I like you saying it better? Sober and clean? Clean and sober. I don't know. I just like being different. So maybe sober and clean instead of clean and sober. But anyway, it's been 3 years. So that's a fucking accomplishment right there. You hear me? That's a fucking accomplishment. And speaking of accomplishments, we have over 300 episodes. We have over 320 episodes, actually, for our audio show. And if you want to catch our YouTube show, there's 3 ways to get there. Obviously, you're watching it right now. You can go to any browser and type in youtube.com/C/Mixture of Variety Entertainment. One more time for the people in the back. youtube.com/C, like channel. That's what it stands for. C/Mixture of Variety Entertainment. Okay, that's a mouthful, but that's just what it is. That's what you said. All right, so also you go to youtube.com and you type in their browser, Mixture of Variety Podcast, or even Mixture of Variety. Our channel will pop right up. 20 episodes on season 1, all for your viewing enjoyment. 20 episodes on season 2, same thing. And 8 episodes on season 3, plus a bonus episode that I did last week. And yeah, that's right. Obviously, I talked about that I had 3 years clean and sober because I did the Friday show. That was all that revolved around that. And I told my story and everything. So anybody that's in recovery, anybody that's, you know, struggling to stay clean and sober, anybody that has an addict in their family or an addict friend, or an addict that just doesn't know where to even start, definitely check that out because that was my story, my sobriety story from when I was 16 years old until that day. So that's something that I definitely want people to push if they're in recovery, especially. The last way and the easiest way to check out our YouTube show is to go to IG. And if you're not following us on IG at this point, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I really don't. Our IG is at Mixture of Variety. Okay, so Instagram at Mixture of Variety. That's at Mixture of Variety. The name of the show. Very, very simple, ladies and gentlemen. Very simple. It's very simple. And that'll take you right there. You just click the link in the bio, and it'll take you right to our most recent show. It's really that simple. All right? So those are the 3 ways. Got my Yes Indeed cup, so you know it's going down. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, boys and girls. So Nikki P is not with us tonight. Granny is somewhere in the audience doing her thing. So I say we get right into it. Let me just say really fast, like I always have to say the disclaimer. The disclaimer is if you are hypersensitive or get butthurt easy, this podcast is definitely not for you. Sick and twisted dark humor, vulgar uncensored language, and politically incorrect conversations are just some of the things and fun you'll hear on Mixture of Variety, which means listener discretion is definitely advised. And on YouTube, obviously, viewer discretion is definitely advised. Viewer discretion. I can never say that. I never say that right. Discretion. There you go. Obviously I have to say that for YouTube, but there's only so much that we can say on YouTube, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't really do a conspiracy theory. We did a conspiracy theory. I'm not going to lie. We did talk about conspiracy theories, and I had Value for Viral on. He was my special guest. Value for Viral. If you don't know him, Google him right now because he's all about that. He's all about that, and he is a lot more knowledgeable than I am. That's another thing, too, I just wanted to say. Because I'm knowledgeable on some of these conspiracy theories, this show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is really like my opinions. I mean, like this whole show, this whole shindig that we have here is our thoughts, views, and opinions. Because obviously, why would people even have a podcast if they don't express their thoughts, views, and opinions? You know what I mean? So thoughts, views, and opinions obviously is where it's at. The 12 million people that have a YouTube now these days. Thoughts, views, and opinions. What makes this show a little different is our experiences, our strength, and our hope. Okay, that makes it a little different, and you can definitely check back last week's episode, and you can find out exactly what I mean about that. But because these are thoughts, views, and opinions, I don't want you guys to, in the comments say you don't know what you're talking about, or you said it all wrong, or whatever. Like I'm going to say what I know. The rest I'm going to, I'm going to say what I know. I'm not going to try to guess and speculate and do all these things. But at the same time, I don't want to strike on my YouTube channel. I don't want to strike, and I don't want to get blocked, and I don't want to get some other problem when it comes to YouTube. And YouTube is definitely well known for doing that. So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to say what I know. I'm going to say my opinions, and I'm going to try to leave it at that. Once again, if I missed one, which is definitely a possibility, I'm not saying that I got every single conspiracy theory in the world. If I missed one, or is there something that you want to talk about on the next conspiracy show, or maybe we can touch on it on the audio show, then you can email us, mixtureofvariety@gmail.com, or you can just leave it in the comments right under this video. And as that is scrolling along, as you see right there, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Okay? All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Let's start this shit up. Let's start this shit up, boys and girls. Yup. Okay. You guys ready out there? You guys good? Okay. All right. Just checking. You guys were a little quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, We gotta get right to this. Now, I kind of have it in order by timeline. Like I kind of have it in order by time. Okay, starting from the 70s, I want to say. No, starting from the 60s. Starting from the 60s, and you'll see what I mean in a second. I did some research. There was some that I knew, there was some that I knew off the top of my head. And there's some that I actually talk about to this day, especially on audio show podcasts or even with conversations with other people, because of what's going on in the world today. But then there's some that I had to do some research on. Let me first say this, okay? Because then hopefully this disclaimer is going to put me in the category where I'm just doing some research and I'm just talking off the top of my head and I'm just discussing conspiracy theories instead of saying that I believe all of these conspiracy theories. Because even though, there's a lot of these that I don't believe, there's some of them that I do, but I just want to leave it like that because I feel like the YouTube police will know the difference, because if I'm saying that I'm in QAnon or that I'm a part of Q or something like that, there's a very strong chance that my page will be taken down. I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to say, this will be the last time I say it. I don't want to even say Q or QAnon because the words that register and they pick up on YouTube can make it seem like I'm in that group and I believe everything that they believe. Some of the conspiracy theories that they believe, I mean, some of them are really out in left field, okay? But that doesn't make them not true. That just makes them seem to the common brain and the common knowledge and the common human being that they can be true. Because if that is true, then you're going to disrupt my entire foundation, my entire core inside, and everything that I know and everything that I learned since I was young and everything that I believe and everything that the government is teaching me and everything that all this, is going on right now. So you're trying to tell me that is wrong? You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. It's like taking this mug, right? You take this mug. You can call it a mug. You can call it a glass. You can call it a cup. I don't care. Whatever you call it, right? You find out after 35 years of existence, after 45 years of existence, after 55 years of existence on this planet, that this is actually a hamburger. It's a hamburger. There's no way this could be a hamburger. Like, how could you even? That's so wrong on so many levels. And then that's how it starts. But some of the stuff like this, where you can actually hit the mug and just say, like, no, I've been calling it a mug. I've been labeling this thing for 35 years of existence, 45 years of existence. I've been labeling this thing. So just like switching the name is one thing, but actually to have somebody show you that this mug that you thought was a mug the entire time, watch me take a bite out of it, and then they take a bite out of it, then your mind is completely blown. It's like, what kind of magician wizard are you? How did you just do that? How did you do that? And how could that possibly be true? That's basically the analogy, the horrible analogy that I'm trying to bring to you. Is that something that you were taught to believe and told to believe your entire life, just to find out that there's something out there that is true, that does exist, but it'll blow your fucking brain. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. And I'm not just talking about like blow your mind like, oh, we have a special guest that's going to blow your mind. I mean, that's going to blow your mind in like, you know, you can't even wrap your head around it. And that's actually where conspiracy theories come from in the first place. Is like conspiracies, you'll get called a conspiracy theorist really quickly if you start talking like you're crazy, like you're schizophrenic or you're crazy or you're just out of your mind or like, what are you talking about? This guy must be crazy, right? This guy must be, look what happened to Kanye. He must be crazy. This guy must be schizophrenic. This guy must be a conspiracy theorist. It's in the same category because if you and your mind and your brain are all working together, and for your entire existence you're thinking one thing, and then you hear something that, if it is true, it will actually blow your mind and maybe send you to the psych hospital. Your brain and your mind and your body and your soul don't want to believe it, so you just dismiss it. And when you dismiss it, you just dismiss it as a conspiracy theory. Okay, you guys get it? You guys probably get it. If you're tuning in this far into the show and you're tuning into this show in particular, you probably do know that already, but I'm just breaking it down like that. So that's what I wanted to break down as far as conspiracy theories, because I'm telling you right now, I have episodes on YouTube and I have episodes on our audio show that maybe not is particularly called debunking conspiracy theories or something like that, or the truth behind conspiracy theories or something like that. But how we talk on the show and how I talk with the guests on the show and how we come to the same conclusion about things, some people won't be able to handle that, you know. And one of them is the one that we're going to talk about later on, which is the newest one, I would say, out of all these conspiracy theories. The newest one that's floating around that people are talking about. You guys already know what it is, but once again, I have to be careful about what I say on YouTube. So the first one, just to break down where we're going to go with this, the assassination of JFK. Assassination of JFK. Now, he was president of the United States. This should have been the first time. I wasn't alive for this time, but this should have been the first time in that generation where people are realizing that there are higher entities. I'm not talking godlike, and I'm not talking in the spirit world, or I'm not talking in the fifth dimension or anything like that. I'm talking about higher entities on this planet that are really in control. However they want to set it up as far as his assassination. Yes, it was an assassination, but it wasn't from who they said it was from. And I don't know if that time, you know, people really looked into anything more than just what the newspaper or the television said, right? Because the newspaper and the television at that time and the radio was how the media pumped out their propaganda, and they said whatever they said and people believed it. And that's just how it was, because if it came from the television, if it came from the radio, and if it came from the newspaper, then it had to be truth, right? It had to be truth. And all three were on the same page because they're all on the same the same strong arm of government. Actually, mainstream media is actually a part of government, because you can force feed certain stories and you can take away and delete and try to block certain stories, and whatever they want out is what they put out, and whatever narrative they want to push, if it fits their narrative, that's where they want to go with it. So of course they did not want to think that a higher elite or the higher elites took out JFK. I mean, are you kidding me? People those days, they wouldn't be able to handle it. Their brain would have malfunctioned. They would not have been able to handle it. Nowadays, it's different. Nowadays, it's totally different because now you're going from 19. When did he get assassinated? 69, 70, 69, 68, something like that, right around there, late 60s. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact date. I think it was 69. We're talking what, 30 years before the internet, 25 years before the internet. If the internet came out and there's this world wide web of knowledge where people for in a click of a mouse can get any information that they wanted to, a lot more people would have been a little bit more skeptical, a little bit more, wait a second, something doesn't seem right. And why JFK out of all presidents? Right? Well, the reason why is because he was talking too much. He was talking too much. He was saying behind the scenes shit. He was saying stuff that the people were not supposed to hear. He was saying stuff that the elites didn't want him to say. He was saying stuff that was exposing the New World Order and was exposing the people behind the curtain, even back then. They couldn't let that happen. They couldn't let that happen. I mean, jump 50 years later, you see this complete decrepit Alzheimer's puppet that just says and does whatever is put in front of him. He's like one side of the spectrum. JFK is the other side of the spectrum. So it's still, I mean, it's so unfortunate to this day when you even talk about it, you even talk about the story. But when you hear about what happened, now these days you can go back and look and find out some more information and find out about everything that took place that day, about why it took place that day, but the angle that he got shot, and everything else that comes with it. If you guys now listen, like I said, all these I'm just going to mention, and I'm going to say my thoughts, views, and opinions. If you guys disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. These are conspiracy theories can be, in my opinion, can be like a fun conversation because it could be like an argument that neither side really knows what's true or not. That's just to me. Like I could talk conspiracy theories all day, but if you want to do more research about it, especially the young viewers, if you're like Generation Z or some shit, and you came across this podcast and you don't even know who JFK is, go check him out and see the conspiracy theory behind it. The moon landing, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this was also 69, 68, 70. I don't know. My dates are fucked up, but I know it was around that time. 69. I want to say 69. I think it was 69. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this is one of those conspiracy theories that I did believe for a long time, and then I started thinking like, well, maybe not. Maybe it didn't happen. Like, why were we in this game with Russia to see in the 1960s to see like who had the technology to go to the moon? Why were we in that race? I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. The USSR at that time. But what I do know is it kind of looked like, we went out of there. We went there. We broke through the atmosphere of the Earth. We went to the moon. We landed with no problem in basically this, tinfoil capsule. Went out there, bounced around that looked like trampolines. I mean, all of it could have been done in a Hollywood set, which basically is the whole conspiracy, because they're saying like there's no way we had technology at that time to go to the moon, land 100% safely, do what we had to do, bounce around for a little bit, and and come back. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and there's a lot that is probably not true. But you can make anything seem real on a Hollywood set. And there was certain things as far as like the shadows not lining up with, I guess, the sun, and why were they able to see what they were seeing from the angle that they were seeing it, and the flag, the United States flag that they put on there was kind of like moving a little bit, and it shouldn't have been moving if there was no gravity. It should have just been down. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I don't know, but there's a lot of questions behind that one, for sure. There's a lot of questions behind that one. It's just one of those things, you look back now, it's just like how easy that could have been staged. But why? I guess that's the other side of the argument. Like, why? Just to make the USSR look bad, make China look bad, make it seem like, we did this before anybody. I don't know. Princess Diana. Now, Princess Diana is not she's royalty, but I'm going to put her in the same category as some of the people I'm about to mention, because these are the people that that died because of however they died, right? Because if it was an unsolved shooting for 30 years, if it was an unsolved car accident, like what really happened with Princess Diana in her car crash? Paparazzi was chasing her down. Was it intentional? Was it supposed to happen exactly in that tunnel? Was it intentional? Why? But she was also one of those people that were talking too much, and I definitely feel like the new age of doing this is if you talk too much on YouTube, you get your channel shut down, just because there's millions and millions of people that are doing it, and it's around the world. And the World Wide Web was not a thing. The internet was not a thing. But back then, if you were a public figure and you're doing it, you're going to be taken out. And that still could happen today, for sure. If you're a public figure in any way, you could still be taken out. And then you could just say that you died. So Princess Diana, then you got Prince. He was one of the ones that were, anytime he got a microphone, he would talk. And in his any magazine interview, he would talk. He would say too much. He was referencing the Matrix a couple years before he died. Michael Jackson. As soon as Michael Jackson started opening his mouth and saying how sick and twisted the music industry is and what happens behind the scenes, and he's just sick of it, and he's trying to get his voice out there, dead. Tupac, all within his lyrics, all he was talking about was, I'm not saying the only thing that he was talking about, but when he would talk on, interviews, and when he would be in magazines as well, and he would be on MTV all the time, and he would start saying some certain things, and they didn't like it. John Lennon, same thing, just a lot earlier. His death was in the 80s. Bob Marley, you guys get the point. The list goes on and on. What about the conspiracy with Y2K, ladies and gentlemen? Y2K. A lot of people thought that was the end of the world. Y2K. All the computers were going to reset it to all zeros or something like that. There was going to be a total glitch, total chaos. Everything was going to be wiped out, and it was going to cause absolute chaos. and it didn't. But that's just one of those conspiracy theories that people talk about, people pump up, and people, discuss to make it seem like it's a thing, and then it just fades out. It's kind of like the Mayans. The Mayans was a big conspiracy theory for a long time. People, as soon as people started talking about that or hearing about that, they started talking about it and spreading the news, if it was online or if it was just wherever it was. And there was some major public figures that were talking about it. There were gurus that were talking about it. There were, master yogis that were talking about it. Spiritual leaders that were talking about it. A lot of people were talking about it. And I still think to this day that they weren't wrong. It was just interpreted a different way by a lot of people. Because as soon as people start hearing end of the world, just like what's happening now, as soon as people start hearing end of the world, nuclear war, end of the world, people start acting a certain way. Some people want that. Some people actually want that, are excited by it. But that energy picks up in society and civilization. The energy picks up and everybody's talking about it. So I think it was the same thing with the Mayans. But the thing about the Mayans is that they said in 2012, in December of 2012, they said that the world was going to end as we know it. The world as we know it was going to end. And that was the start of, new age. That was the start of maybe a new chapter in this world, maybe a new whatever it was. And that's how people were taking it. And that's how spiritual leaders and yogis and everybody was taking it. It was just a new chapter of this earth. And it was a new chapter of this world. And then we were going to live differently than before. And we were going to be becoming, we were going to be entering this new age. Life as we know it was no longer going to exist. But this next chapter was going to exist just because their calendar ticked down to exactly that time. "9/11, ladies and gentlemen, 9/11. 9/11 we can make a whole podcast about just by itself, and I think we are going to do that, actually. Just like another one of these that I'm going to be talking about. That we have made a full podcast about. We haven't made a full podcast about 9/11 yet. But it's the same type of thing. I don't know if we could do that on YouTube without getting a strike or without there being some fishy business. I really don't know. And then sometimes I'm kind of scared because I don't want, well, not scared, that's the wrong word, but I just am curious because I don't want to do it just to find out that that is the case and we get a strike or something like that. But maybe at this point, maybe I should just do it and then we should just see what happens. 9/11. Who was actually involved? Was the Bush administration had something to do with it? Did the CIA have something to do with it? There was, or did the CIA know what was going to happen? There was pictures that had Bin Laden part of the CIA years ago. There was pictures of the plane going in, and you could see like sparks on the side before it even hit the building. You can see, and testimony says also with these people that were on the bottom, the lobby, and they said before the second plane hit that building that they heard massive explosions and saw explosions in the lobby. How it fell, it was like a controlled demolition. They said the fire, I forgot exactly the amount of degrees, 3,000 degrees or something like that, was not meant to bend and melt steel, and especially not at the rate where it was going to just take the top part and just cave into itself like it did. The steel was just too strong for that, and it was built exactly to not do that. It was built exactly to do the opposite of that. That if something like that major, like a plane or aircraft or some major bomb or something like that went off, that section would be fucked up. Maybe the section above it a couple of floors and below a couple of floors, but it was never supposed to be imploding onto itself. So many questions. Still 20 years later, or 21 years later, that we may never know. We may never know, ladies and gentlemen. There's just a lot with that one. There's a lot with that conspiracy theory because a lot of people just can't, they just can't. They just can't believe it. They can't wrap their head around it. Where did the plane go for the Pentagon? There was just like, how it entered the Pentagon. I don't know. I don't want to like talk facts that I don't know. Don't know what I'm talking about. But there was enough of the evidence where it just seems like it was just so weird. I mean, the fact that they knew about this for as long as a period as they did, and then it wasn't even on the map, and then it was on the map again, and then it was just a lot of shit. It was just a lot of shady shit going on. You would think the Pentagon, the fucking Pentagon, would have took care of that before it actually hit into the building. I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot. I'm just thinking out loud, really, but it's just a lot that can be discussed with that one, especially who was behind it, especially who knew, what was going on. There was $3 trillion worth of money that was in that building that disappeared like the day before. A lot of shady shit like that. A lot of like twisted shit that no one even talked about. No one talked about after that once it happened. Chemtrails is another one. Chemtrails is always interesting because you always see, when you're a kid, you always see the plane with the jets that just have a long trail, a long tail attached to them. And I remember being a kid and just saying like, wow, that's so cool. Look at that. And they crisscross and stuff like that. And then I grow older and I learn, oh, wait a second. Those are chemtrails. And it's either ice crystals that are manipulating the weather, or it's manipulating human beings because of what that is dropping onto us. And if they're calling it chemtrails, that is short for chemical trails, whatever chemicals they're putting in the air. For either way, if it's above the trails or below the trails, it's nothing good. It's absolutely nothing good. It's only a bad scenario. And what is it exactly? What is it? What are they? And what are they meant to do? Why are these chemicals in the sky? Why are these chemicals falling on us? And we're breathing them in, and then we get cancer, and then we get all these things. Similar to that is HAARP, which is weather manipulating exercise, weather manipulating technology, which is the same type of thing. It's just like you just wonder why. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? What is going on behind the scenes? And the thing about HAARP is that that's not even really a conspiracy theory in a sense that you can look it up and find out exactly what it is. And, they have information on it, and it's just like, yes, this is a real thing. Whereas like chemtrails, you just don't really know. And, the information is out there as well, but it's not going to pinpoint and say, well, yeah, because we're dropping chemicals on you and we're putting ice crystals in the air and we want the population to breathe it in so they get cancer. Of course, it's not going to say that, but HAARP is actually a technology where they say, yes, we are manipulating the weather. All right, here's an extreme one. This is one of the ones where it's just like, okay, there's some conspiracy theories that I believe. I'm not going to even say which ones, but there's some conspiracy theories that are just a little over the top even for me. And But once again, you got to realize that even though they're over the top, doesn't mean that they don't exist. It doesn't mean that they're not true. Okay, doesn't mean that, right? There is 5 senses that we can use as human beings: touch, hearing, smelling, seeing, feeling. Those 5 senses are how we view the world. That doesn't mean that's the only senses that are out there. Okay, there are other senses that are out there, right? Even that movie, Sixth Sense, Seventh Sense, Eighth Sense. Who knows? Just human beings. That's all we know because that's all we were born into this world, and that's all we know are those 5 senses. That doesn't mean that there's more out there. And just because if you say that it's a spiritual plane, or you can see whatever it is, you can see paranormal or whatever it is, just because you don't believe it and think it's so extreme doesn't mean it does not exist. That's my point. Just like as far as seeing, we're so limited of what we can see. We only see like 20% of the infrared colors, let's say, or infrared beams, or whatever it is. I mean, can you see Bluetooth? Can you see my Bluetooth right now? Can you see Wi-Fi right now? Signals, right? Can you see whatever it is? You can't see Wi-Fi, but it's everywhere. Infrared lasers, infrared beams, infrared lights, everywhere. We just can't see them, but they do exist. But this is still an extreme one, ladies and gentlemen. This is reptilian human hybrids. Reptilian human hybrids. This conspiracy theory is tens of thousands of years old. When they say early on in this entire world, I'm talking about 10,000 years ago, 10,000s of years ago. Early on in this world where there was actually human beings, and then there was some type of other alien type creatures that came to this earth. Some are pure blood reptilians, and they can morph and change into human beings, where they actually look like human beings. And people will never know. And they are here because they try to dominate the world, and they have royalty and public figures and elite members of, the people with the most money, the elite of all the elite. And they're the ones that control the world. And then the ones that actually had sex with humans are the hybrids, because their offspring is half human, half reptilian. Now, before you change the YouTube channel and you say Patient Zero has completely lost his mind, just do some research about it. Just do some research about why they're here and how they came here and this and this, whatever. It's fascinating is what it is. It's absolutely fascinating. I can't say that I actually believe it, but it's fascinating. I mean, there's a lot of celebrities online you can see on YouTube. You can search for some videos where they have like the cat eye, which I guess is like the lizard eye, was the reptilian eye, like it blinks sideways, and then they rub it, or they start to shape shift a little bit, and then when they move. A great video to check out is I don't even know if it's on YouTube still. Obama's Secret Service. One of Obama's Secret Service. He was looking left and right, and as he was doing it, it was like more. He was more like psycho acting than a normal Secret Service. He was like left and right, and you could see that he started morphing into his face. Started actually had like the profile of a reptile. I swear to God. So between those videos that are out there and some other videos of like, the shapeshifters and the sideways eyes blinking, it's intriguing. It's definitely interesting. That's all I can say. It's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Satanic pedophile ring. Okay, now this is up there with Q, how we talked about at the beginning of the show, where Q believes certain things, and QAnon. It's the same thing. QAnon. They believe certain things. This is one of the things where it's just like, I understand that unfortunately, there's a lot of evil in the world, and there's definitely a lot of pedophilia in the world, and there's a lot of human trafficking in the world. I know that. I understand that. I'm not stupid. I've been on the dark web before. There are some evil, satanic people, and just people that are looking for certain things that are just really dark. There's really dark energy on this world. But the fact that they believe like all the politicians are involved and it's just like an underground thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Once again, I can't say that it's like exactly what they're making it out to be, because I know it does exist. But is it such a huge, does it like cover everybody in Congress and the House of Representatives? You know what I mean? Like, is everybody involved, or like, is everybody in the elite involved? I don't know. But that's a huge one too, especially with Q and QAnon, because I mean, they're also the ones that think like Trump is like their savior, and Trump is gonna like take them through this, and Trump is gonna be the one to. I don't believe any of that. Again, I'm saying them so you can look them up, do your own research. These are my thoughts, views, and opinions, but do some research. UFOs is the other one that I was going to say that we could do an entire episode. UFOs, we have done an entire episode before, and I think on YouTube and a couple times on the audio show on Spotify and whatnot. It was it's been a while. It's been a while, but we definitely talked about a lot of stuff that comes with it, as far as like, first of all, aliens in general. If you don't believe that aliens are real and you just look up at night, you just see what's out there. I mean, what do you think, that we're the only species and the only planet with life? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. And if you don't highly doubt it, then you have a very pea-sized closed mind. And I'm not one to judge, but I'm going to judge because open your mind up just a little bit. Okay. When you go to bed and look up and you just, what the fuck? Like, you just look up and say, oh no, it must be only Earth with living organisms and only human beings, and we're the only things. No. So aliens alone, right? And of course, the government will keep that from us. That's fine. They keep everything from us. If it doesn't fit their narrative, they're not going to show it on the mainstream media, and they don't want people to believe it. Luckily, there's other outlets, thank God for Rumble and Gab and Telegram and shit like that, where you can start getting more information out and start getting real information out, truthful information that is not, blocked or deleted, shut down, etc., etc. But there's a lot of interesting stuff about UFOs, aliens in general, Area 51, Roswell, New Mexico, right? There's a lot of interesting stuff. If you guys are interested at all and care, like I'm borderline addicted to aliens and alien information, and I can't get enough of it. I really love it. I really love it all. MK Ultra, ladies and gentlemen, MK Ultra is a mind control program, which I guess I wrote this at first because a lot of people don't know about MK Ultra, but just do your own research about MK Ultra, because it's a real thing and it really did happen, and it actually has its own Wikipedia page. So it's not like it's a conspiracy theory where you just have to, think of something like Q is just guessing and they really don't know and they can't put their hands on the facts, but they're really just hoping that it's true. You feel me? Fluoride in water. How many times when you were younger you heard on every toothpaste commercial for kids, oh, and it has fluoride to strengthen your teeth? Well, that's true. Fluoride will strengthen your teeth, but you know what else it does? It increases the aluminum in your body. Just like you should never get deodorant. Or deodorant is okay, but the antiperspirant has aluminum in it, and you're actually not supposed to have that aluminum in your body because it causes Alzheimer's, it causes cancer, it causes all these things. Just like so many things out there does. But this was tricky because they actually, they made it seem like fluoride, it'll protect your teeth, it'll protect your gums, it'll protect your, whatever. And that's how it was sold to us. So a lot of people, they don't know the difference and they just want toothpaste with fluoride in it, or they have fluoride in their water and they're drinking it. Tap water has tons of fluoride in it, and they're drinking it, not knowing anything else. It's like, hey, whatever, I'm just drinking tap water. If it kills me, it kills me, or that's not going to kill me, or everybody drinks tap water. Yeah, it's true. Everybody does drink tap water. Not everybody doesn't realize that if they don't have a filter on it, or they're not filtering their water in any way, then they're getting massive amounts of fluoride in their body. You know what else fluoride does? It puts a film. Part of it is from the aluminum, but it puts a film on your pineal gland. The pineal gland is what people call, since early civilization, third eye. Right? Your third eye. And the reason why they call it third eye is because that is where you can connect to a fourth dimension. That's where you can connect to a fifth dimension. That's where your body releases small amounts of DMT, like the drug that people take because they hallucinate and they feel like it's out of body and they're connecting to everything in the world and they're losing their ego and all these things. DMT, we produce it. We produce a couple of things like that. We produce a couple of chemicals like that are extremely powerful, and it's from the pineal gland. And a lot of people, they think that it's a conspiracy, that the people that really own this planet, the people that run this planet, they don't want you to know about that. They don't want you to know about the third eye. They want to keep that film on it. They want to, just simplify it. They want to fucking do whatever they can do just to make it all shriveled up, and nobody's caring about it, worrying about it, thinking about it, or using it. And the conspiracy behind that is they're doing it on purpose. I definitely believe that one. They are doing it on purpose. 5G, ladies and gentlemen, 5G, this is a main one, like we were talking about before. Can you see the 5G waves coming out of my phone? No, you cannot. But are they there? Absolutely they are. Now, there's a couple things with 5G. I believe in this conspiracy that 5G is deadly in a sense and is definitely not good for humans or animals or any living life. But I also think that for microwave waves on a much smaller scale, I also think about that on 3G. I also think about that as 4G and definitely 5G. I definitely don't think it's good for human beings. I definitely think that you should have some type of, privacy pocket or something on top of your phone. I don't currently, but the privacy pocket is supposed to keep out those waves and keep out people monitoring and checking your phone and watching over your phone and stuff like that, all the things that they do. But at the same time, it keeps those waves contained. Maybe not as deadly as just like a phone. A phone in your pocket is not really good for your junk down there, for sure. But I feel like that was with any cell phone at all, is emitting these waves that are not good for you for a long period of time, I would say. But I also think that it outweighs the benefits, or the benefits outweigh the problems with it. Because unless you're standing in front of a 5G tower, like if you're standing in front of a 5G tower, that's probably a bad idea. Especially if you're doing it for a long period of time, like your house is right there. That's probably a bad idea. Probably a bad idea. and the damage that that can do, I definitely believe is pretty strong. But like I said, I think like 3G was bad, 4G was bad, 5G was bad. I think 6G will be even worse. You know, but are people not going to use cell phones because of that? Are people just going to be off the grid? No, they're not. The cell phone is like attached to us now. It's like a part of us. Good old. Okay, see, this is the stuff that I gotta watch what I say. The last couple ones, we'll just leave it like this actually, because we're out of time anyway. HB's laptop, HB's laptop, which was a conspiracy theory for the last year and a half, and we were talking about it on the show all the time, and now out of nowhere, no one knows the reason why, for the timing wise or whatever. Now the Washington Post and the New York Times, they come out with this. Yes, they're very liberal, papers on top of that. So it's not like Republicans are just trying to get some information or conservatives are just trying to, smear campaign or something like that. No, this is liberal newspapers that are saying this. And I guess the gods of newspapers, because if they say it, then it must be true. And now the story is actually true. And it's just the most wild thing in the world. HB's laptop, his laptop, I don't even care about the homemade porn that he made. I don't even care about him messing with these girls and taping himself and doing all these sick, twisted like sexual things. I do care if some of those are minors, because if some of those are minors, I guess they're still trying to figure that out if they're underage or not. If they're underage, then he should definitely get the book thrown at him. But what I do care about is the shady business deals that he had throughout the entire world, including Ukraine, including China. I think even including Russia and other places too. That's what I care about, and that's what everybody else cares about too. So he's either going to get thrown under the bus by his entire party, including his father, who was the president. But I don't really see that happening. I see him getting off, just like his videos on his laptop. I see him getting off, just getting off from everything. Everything is going to be smooth sailing for him, and he is going to get off, and it's going to be no problem, and he's going to get no jail time. He's going to get no prison time, and the world will just keep on going by. That's just how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen. Because that's the world that we live in. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Then you got another huge one from Q, the 2020 election. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. I'm not. I had thoughts about it, and I was talking about it early on, like last year and stuff. But now that an entire year went by and nothing's happening, nothing's changing, JB is the president or the puppet president, whatever. Just give him bold, large text pamphlet of what to say and put him in front of a podium and pick, certain reporters that he's told to pick on. It's so fucking pathetic that this is our president and what he's done in the last year. And inflation is going to continue to rise. And the debacle in Afghanistan is something that people should never, ever, ever forget. The border, the southern border, they said a million people. They said they're estimating about 1 million fucking people from all different countries, not just Mexico, all different countries around the world that are just using that as a way in. But over 1 million people has come in. I mean, to me, he's the worst president that I thought for me, President Bush, in my lifetime, I thought President Bush was going to just have that title for life because of 9/11. He was going to have that title for life, but JB beat him. JB took the spot, baby. He took the spot. And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, C-19 and the vax. C19, how it came out, completely synthetic. Now it came out 2 years later, completely synthetic, all manufactured together, spliced together to this chimera of viruses, all synthetic. Okay, let that sink in. Released from a lab, let go from a lab, doesn't matter. Killed 6 million people, however many people. Absolutely tragic. And then you have this V that comes in. This vax. And that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. And that's a whole nother conspiracy by itself. And you know what I'm going to do? Let's let this get unraveled a little bit more, because they're talking about the 4th coming soon, the second B, whatever, the 4th, the second B, sorry for the code language, is coming soon. And possibly more lockdowns, possibly masks coming back full force again. That's what fuckboy fraud Fauci says. So we'll see how it all unravels. You know, we'll give it a little bit more time before we debunk any conspiracy theories, or yeah, let's just leave it like that. I think I said enough, ladies and gentlemen. I think I said enough, ladies and gentlemen. That is tonight's show. Give it up one time. Give it up one time. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you guys so much for joining on this April Fool's. I hope I got you guys earlier when I said it was the last show. That was a good April Fool's joke. It's the only thing I could really think of on a podcast to say. But got to get some other people now, too. Hopefully you guys got some people, too. I love April Fool's. April Fool's is fun. So with that being said, please make sure to check us out on the audio show. Like I said, Spotify, Apple, everywhere else. Just Google us. You can just search Mixture of Variety across the board, wherever we're at. Live show Monday and Wednesday nights, 9:00 p.m. Eastern. And that is on Castbox.fm. You can go to Castbox and search under Livecast for Mixture of Variety. And then, of course, we're here every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. If it's not a live show like today, no worries, ladies and gentlemen. It's still a YouTube premiere. So either way, you get to watch it live with me or while I'm recording it. 9 p.m. Eastern is where it's at. Tell a friend. Make sure to comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we will see you next time. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Signing out, Patient Zero, Mixture of Variety Entertainment. Deuces!
This just in from Patient Zero.
It's the science fiction in me, because I love science fiction movies, and this is something out of a movie. I mean, when you watch his videos, you can't help but to feel like you're there with him. You're alone